welcome to the Commissioner's Court. We're going to go ahead and begin with roll call. Commissioner Yower is not going to be here. Commissioner Rosales?
Here.
Judge Shaw here. Commissioner Schindel?
Here.
And Commissioner
Here.
Hummel. Please stand and join us in opening prayer and stay standing for the pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we ask for your decisions to make the best ask for your guidance to make the best decisions for Karnes County. We ask that you be with our families and be with our friends as they travel down the busy highways. We also ask that you be with our troops wherever they may be. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go to citizens to be heard, does anybody have anything about none? Oh, well, good. Thank you. Luana's got to go and Lorraine's got to go, so I'd like to do their items first. I'd like to go to, oh, I just caught that. Number 9, which is the presentation of the fiscal year 2011 independent audit by Janet Pittman, CPA, or Mike Del Toro, CPA, and Thompson, Williams, Beaver, Casper, and Young, certified public accountants, and that's Luana. I know they're here somewhere. I saw the office.
That's right.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, we're here to present the September 30th, 2011 financial audit. Just going to go over the handout rather than go flip through the bound report. Janet's passing that out right now.
It's on. Are you on call? Turn it on.
That's okay.
We can hear you.
Like I said, we'll go through the handout. If you have any specific questions at any time, please feel free to ask. Page 2, what's in the financial audit report? This is just a brief overview of everything that we're going to look at today. The independent auditor's report, the management discussion and analysis, as well as the financial statements, government-wide and the fund financials, and the notes, and some required supplementary information. Page 3, the independent auditor's report, which is in the bound document, is the only part of the financial statements that truly belong to us, the independent auditors. Basically, the summary of it is that we audited the financials of Karnes County in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. And the purpose was to form an independent opinion on whether the financials were stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Based on our audit, we concluded that the financials were presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and so we're issuing an unqualified opinion, which basically means we have no qualifying opinion stating that you have some type of departure from the GAAP. Page 4 of the handout. The management discussion and analysis is the next part of the financial statements. It's what I consider the cliff notes of the financials. If you wanted to get an overview of the county's financial fiscal year, you would look at the MD&A to get a good view of what happened during the fiscal year. It has some financial highlights as well as overviews of the financial statements and some analysis of the county's funds, some budgetary highlights as well as information on your capital assets and debt. So, page 5 of the handout. The financial highlights for the county. Your assets exceeded your liabilities by $9.1 million. That's an increase from $6.2 million last year. Of that $9.1 million, $1.5 is invested in capital assets, net of related debt. $789,000 is restricted for specific purposes, and $6.7 million is unrestricted and available for ongoing county operations. That's an increase of from $2.5 million from last year. So you had a really good fiscal year that increased your unrestricted funds available for future operations. And as mentioned, your net increase in assets was 2.8 million. That increase was primarily in your sales tax. You went from 679,000 last year to 2.6 million in revenue in your sales tax revenue. So obviously everyone's noticed a lot more people in the county. The result was an increase in your sales tax. Page 6 of the handout, the government-wide financial statements. This is a broad overview of the financials. These can be found in pages 4 and 5 of the bound document. They present your financials in a manner similar to private sector reporting. So it's a full accrual. Your fixed assets and your long-term debt are presented in that, and it's the county's operations consolidated into one line item. Page 7 of your handout. The fund financials, which can be found on page 6 through 9. This is your government financial statement, or your fund financial statements, which present your 3 major funds, which are the general fund, the road and bridge fund, as well as your certificate of obligation series 2007 fund, which you used up all those funds during this current fiscal year. So you'll see that on the balance sheet, those have zeroed out, meaning that you've spent all those funds. As well as a column for non-major funds, which is all your other smaller special revenue funds consolidated into one column. On page 8 of your handout, talks about pages 15 through 31 of the financial statements. Those consist of your notes to the financial statements. They're a required part of generally accepted accounting principles. They provide additional details on some of your material items in the financial statements. And they summarize your accounting policies for the county and provide additional detail on some of the financial statement items. Page 32 is your required supplementary information, which shows your funding progress for the Texas County and District Retirement System. And I believe it shows that for 3 years. And then on page 33 through 46 of the financial statements are your supplementary combining statements. So we're taking those small special revenue funds and your other smaller funds and combining them on those schedules, as well as presenting some budgetary information. In addition to the financial statements, we're also issuing a letter of conduct of audit, which we consider the management letter. It's a required communication between us, the CPA, and you, county commissioners. It explains our responsibilities to perform the audit in accordance with our standards. It discusses the timing of performing that audit, as well as significant accounting policies and significant estimates and judgments that are built into the financial statements. We discuss in that letter whether we had any difficulties in performing the audit, and this year we did not have any difficulties, as well as if we had any disagreements, we're required to communicate that to you. We're happy to report that we had no disagreements with management in performing our audit. The letter also explains that management has provided us with certain representations that we needed to perform our audit, and that management did not consult with any other independent auditors to form opinions on accounting situations. All journal entries that were presented to management as a result of our audit were posted and are presented within the bound document. And then we also included a couple of comments and recommendations to improve on internal controls. Our first one was on the district clerk's office. We noted during our fiscal year that we audited that the district clerk office utilized one cash drawer. 3 individuals were utilizing one cash drawer. And so our recommendation was that those cash drawers, each clerk be responsible for one cash drawer assigned to each of those clerks. I have to report that was a comment during our fiscal year, but it was subsequently corrected once the district clerk moved into the new annex, which was subsequent to our audit period. So. The other one was on the Justice of the Peace Office number 4. The deposits there were done on a monthly basis, And our comment there is that in accordance with local government code, deposits are required to be done within 15 days. And so we're recommending that those deposits be done on time. So that concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions from the commissioners.
So number 10 is going to be to discuss accept fiscal year 2011 independent audit prepared by Thompson, Beauty, Pastor and Young, certified public accountants.
Make a motion to accept the fiscal year 2011 independent audit prepared by Thompson, Beediger, Castle, Young, PC, certified public accountant.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Judge.
Is there anything else? I
Thanks.
think that's it for you guys, right? Okay. Let's move to Lorraine. Morning, Lorraine. Oh, wait a second. Before we do that, you want to pay bills so you can go?
No, go ahead. Let her go
You sure?
ahead.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. I'm not trying to get rid of you.
That's fine.
Okay, number 11 was to discuss, approve, disapprove change request number 11, which was adding lightning protection to the phase 1 construction, that there were several features that are being restored, historical weather vane and lightning rods. And these features will need to be protected with a lightning protection system. The cost is $5,793.26 and will be deducted from the owner construction contingency. We had that on there last time, and I think there was question about it, so it's back on there.
Okay, so essentially, when Mr. Fisher divided up his documents and created the phase 1, and then you're gonna have phase 2, the lightning protection features that you're gonna be putting on the roof are part of phase 1. So you have a weather vane and you have a, some lightning rods that are scheduled to go into the project and have already, are part of the bid. But the protection of those, putting the grounding and going down, you know, the copper leads and going down to the ground was part of phase 2. And the problem with that is if you put up the lightning rods, you need to make sure they're protected because they're going to be attracting lightning. And we can't wait till phase 2 to put the lightning protection grounding in. So the options that we have are, one, get back for the installation of these items. They're already currently being fabricated, so we need to let them go ahead and continue to be fabricated. We could get a credit back for the installation and either display them or store them until phase 2, or we can go ahead and pay, it's approximately $5,700 something to go ahead and protect these items, which are going to have to be protected anyway. I would recommend we go ahead and protect them because they're going to need to be protected anyway. And when you ask for a credit back for the installation and then you go and install them 2 years later, it's going to probably cost more to install them 2 years later than to go ahead and let them be installed now as part of the project. The lighting protection will be able to be expanded to protect the rest of the items in phase 2, but this will take care of, you know, those items that are being installed in phase 1 now. In the project right now, we have approximately $92,000 as your project contingency that has not been used as part of the grant funding total project cost. And then there's an $18,000 construction contingency that has not been used yet. So the proposal is to take the lightning protection out of that construction contingency and draw that down appropriately to pay for it.
Those leads that are gonna be installed now, because we had voted on it last time, but Mr. Yauer had a question on it, so I went ahead and I wanted to put it back on here. Those leads are gonna be put in an area to where, are they gonna have to be removed on phase 2? Again, is that gonna be more, they're gonna be put on around the phase 1
Phase
section
1.
where we don't have to go back and remove them at all?
Right, they'll be part of phase 1. They'll be coming down, and there was a diagram in the project report that showed how they'll be
Where they're
coming
gonna
down
be.
and get grounded. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so they're gonna be on the actual finished project,
Yes, and they should be permanent. You should not, you should be able to just add to them
not
when you do
have to
phase 2.
remove them? Okay.
Correct.
Ms. Staley, these are functioning lightning rods, they're not just decoration, is that correct?
Yeah, there's 2 rods that, I mean, they're definitely metal rods sticking up, so they should function to attract the lightning. But I mean, you have a weather vane that is decorative that's gonna be even higher than the rods. But, you know, anything metal that's up there when the lightning strikes is going to be attracting, so they should function. Now, it's not an engineered lightning protection system. It is restoring lightning rods that were on the existing building. So if you're asking if you have an engineered lightning protection system, no. They're putting back these lightning rods that were put there historically, but since they're going to attract lightning, we need to go ahead and protect them and get them grounded.
What little I know about electricity, when it's looking for ground. So
Correct.
if it hits something higher, it's gonna go to the quickest path to ground that it can find,
Exactly.
and that'd probably be the lightning rods.
That's correct, yeah. And then we want it to follow down to
Because
the
the last thing
ground.
you wanted to do is just go straight down through the middle of the
Exactly.
building.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why we want to get the copper leads and get them grounded so that if it does strike, it gets down to the ground versus frying equipment and finding another path.
And I know you said it's not engineered, but it's still gonna function just as well, right?
It was engineered, huh?
It's-
Well, but either, I understand, I know.
I mean, I can't answer
It's
that.
not modern
It's-
engineering, but
It's going to be you're gonna have a weather vane and you're going to have the lightning rods up there. If lightning strikes in the area, chances are it's gonna hit one of these elements, and then if it hits, then it's going to be grounded down, back down to the ground. That's correct. But it's not an engineered system,
modern.
yeah.
It probably is
Based
engineered,
on-
but back then, you know.
It's based on their engineering back in, yes, sir,
Exactly.
probably
Money's already in there,
historically.
coming out of there.
Okay, I make a motion to approve change request number 11.
Wait a second, James. Hold on, James has to say.
No, I'm sorry, let me see if I can put this question the way I want to put it. I know if we go ahead and do this, are we gonna have a modern engineered protection system later on phase 2, or is this all we're gonna have for our courthouse? Because if it's not gonna be a modern engineer, it was engineered back then, but to make sure that our courthouse with all this money we're gonna invest is gonna be protected.
That is not a question that I can answer.
Who
That
can?
would- The architect and Sharon would be able to talk to you about if you're going to add additional lightning protection features. First, someone would have to look at it and see if you restore the current, or excuse me, if you restore the historical lightning rods, how would that equate to an engineered system for today?
Could we, I'm sorry guys. I know we're investing a lot of our taxpayers' money on this, you know. Is there any way that we could modernize the same look, but modernize it to today's engineering, but have the same look, just, you know, because we're gonna have, like, if phase 2 goes, you know, we're gonna have a clock tower, but it's not gonna be made out of wood, it's gonna be made out of light metal
Right.
gauge. So it's gonna look exactly, can we do the same thing to the?
Again, that would be something when phase 2 comes around, if that's a concern that you have, then, and I can bring it up to Mr. Fisher and Sharon and ask them how they would go about, dealing with that concern. Right now, we have some historical features that are going up on just the west facade, and we
Yes,
wanna
ma'am.
make sure those are grounded. And then I would say that in phase 2, if you wanna look at a lightning protection system for the courthouse when it's restored in phase 2, then that would be something at that time they could address for you.
But keep it historical, just like we're doing with a lot of things, keep it historical, but modern engineering.
And I'll ask them to be thinking about that, when phase 2 comes around, and make sure that we put that in our notes.
Okay, but as for now, your recommendation is to go ahead and get this done to just protect what we have right now.
Protect those features that are part of this phase 1 restoration, we need to get them grounded.
Okay,
Is they're gonna be, do we need to add a cost for the grounding?
Well, the cost is gonna come out of that construction contingency for, it's the
All of it?
5,700 and something.
Call me the motion.
Didn't we have a motion?
Right, you want me to go ahead with it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I make a motion to approve change request number 11, adding lightning protection for the phase 1 construction. There are several features that are being restored, historical weather vane and lightning rods. And these features will need to be protected protected with a lightning protection system. The cost is $5,793.26 and will be deducted from the owner construction contingency.
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 4-0. Number 12 is to discuss, approve, disapprove the paint analysis proposal from Pamela Lee to determine historical paint colors. The cost is $1,620 and will be deducted from the owning contingency.
Okay, so according to the Historical Commission, Sharon and Mr. Fisher, every project that they restore, when they find any type of element that has historical paint on it, they do take it down and they have it analyzed so that they can do a microscopic analysis and document the historical colors that were actually on the courthouse. There are 4 such paint samples that they found relating to the exterior. And so the cost to do this analysis is $1,620. This will take care of what they found to date for exterior colors. When you do phase 2, there will probably be some samples that will need to be checked at that time. And I asked Mr. Fisher for an idea of what he's seen in the past and what we can expect. And he said 4 to 5 additional samples. So there potentially could be another $2,000 when you do phase 2 for interior colors. But the exterior colors, he said, based on what they found to date, these 4 analysis should determine what they found so far as historical exterior colors. And then they can make, there's several items that they're waiting on that these paint samples will, questions these paint samples will answer. And one is, what colors to use on the exterior and what colors to use in the colored glass, which is historically the transom over the door had colored, kind of like stained glass, colored glass in it. And so they're holding on determining what colors to use in this colored glass, as well as selecting the exterior paint colors until this analysis can be done.
And this 4 samples that they find, they date back to when it was built, or is it something that was added on afterwards as time
They
went?
believe that it dates back to the original, the very original. There's a piece of shutter, not shutter, excuse me, window trim, I know was one of the pieces, and there's 3 other that they found that they've been holding for such a purpose to determine
And
paint colors.
these 4 samples here, it's a one-time thing, one-time cost, because the rest of the courthouse in phase 2, they're gonna use the same colors. It's only, if there's any additional, it's gonna be for interior colors, right?
Yes, sir.
Because this west side should determine the color for all of it.
Yes, sir. That's what I was told, and the only other thing would be if somehow when they're doing phase 2, they run into something and they find another sample. But at this time, I've been assured this is all the original paint that they found for the exterior, and this is a one-time exterior expense, and you shouldn't anticipate this again until the interior.
What I would like to know, if you could tell them to get us, it's, they found 4 samples, where those 4 samples go. I know one's the window trim, but I've looked at the original picture of the courthouse and stuff, and I've kind of thought about it, and I can't see where there's that many colors on it, because most of it's brick finished, or
Right.
stone finished, or, I would like, well, I'm pretty sure we would like that.
Okay, so we'll document what those 4 samples are,
Yeah.
and, yeah.
I wanna
and-
know where they go, because I know it has wooden windows,
Yes.
but I've kind of eyeballed, and the doors might be, maybe it's a varnish or something that they were, talking about. I'm not really sure what they're talking about.
Right.
I would like to
Well-
know where they pulled those colors from.
And what I can do is I can put that in my report at the, my next weekly report, the one that I'll be preparing today. I'll go ahead and document those, and I'll ask them for pictures of the actual material that is being analyzed.
The gutters, they painted.
They were copper, I believe. The gutters were all, it was a copper system back then, right?
But they are saying that they think it was painted, so
That's what
we're,
I'm saying. See, originally, I'm sure they weren't painted originally, I would imagine. So I'm saying, were these 4 samples, maybe 10 years afterwards, somebody got the commissioner's court got an idea, well, let's do this, let's do that. And I just don't wanna be paying for something that was painted 20 years later, 30 years
Right.
later.
and I know they're working hard based on photographs and getting down to the substrate and trying to determine you know, was it part of the 1920s restoration or the original? And so
Exactly.
I think that's another thing that the microscopic analysis is gonna help them with, is get down to the, you know, down to the bare substrate and then the first material that was put on it.
Make a motion to approve the paint analysis proposal from Pamela J. Rosser to determine the historical paint colors. The cost is $1,620 and will be deducted from the owner contingency.
I'll second
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any no opposition, motion carries 4-0, excuse me.
When can we get that? When will they get that for us?
I'm gonna ask them for that today.
Okay.
So I will hopefully put that in my report that I'll get out to you this week.
Okay, great.
Lorraine, if you can send that, James is a professional painter, can you tell?
Okay.
If you can send those pictures that you get, I mean, I've been printing them in black and white, but if you have colored pictures, I can move them to this other printer and get them,
Sure.
and get you the colors.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can you do that?
I think we send them in color, but I'll find out from my office. I know that, you know, when we take the photographs, the ones that I review before I attach them to the email are in color. So we'll look and see.
I usually borrow that from juvenile. So
Okay.
if we can get the specific samples, so you can see what you're, so he can see the colors, that would
Yes,
help.
we'll do.
Thank you.
Number 13 is to discuss, approve, disapprove MJ Boyle vacation certification for payment number 15 in the amount of $50,265.74. I talked to Luana, I believe that's in the pay cycle,
Yes, it is.
but did she ever get the original one?
I have it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
just
just
gotta
gotta
get
get
the
the
originals of those before we can pay them, and as long as they're in the pay cycle and it's on the bills to be paid, we don't need to do anything here. That's what she
Okay.
has to do.
So if you can get me this original a week before court, so we can process it. We went ahead and did it because I was at the last meeting and knew the discussion on it, but we need the original to
Yeah.
process.
Well, and the contractor and the architect know that, so if they don't get it to me, I will get it to you as soon as I get it, and if they miss the deadline, then they're going to have to,
Right.
you know, all we can do is get on the agenda and approve it, and then if they miss the pay cycle because they don't have the original in, we will continue to remind them.
Well, we
But
won't
usually on
put
the
it on
agenda-
the agenda as a separate item
Right.
because it's in our pay cycle.
Okay,
Usually
understood.
we only approve out-of-cycle items.
Okay, so then I don't even need to request that it go on the
No.
agenda.
No, ma'am.
I just need to,
Make sure I get it.
Okay, make sure you get it, and I will forward it or I'll bring it down as soon as I get it from them. So, and we'll let them know it has to
Yeah.
be, original has to be in your office
A
before,
week before court.
1 week before court. Okay.
It just takes us that long to compile that stuff.
Okay,
Number 14 is to discuss, approve, disapprove, authorizing Lorraine Daly, acting as owner's representative, to hire someone to remove the trees that are growing out of the north sod. These trees are so close to the foundation that the roots could be undermining the foundation. Sharon with THC has indicated the cost for tree removal can be turned in as a reimbursable expense.
so I brought this up in the last project meeting with the architect and the contractor and Sharon, and everybody agrees that, you know, roots undermine foundations, and you really don't want trees and any type of landscaping with strong root structures planted right next to your building. And you have on that north end, you have several trees that are coming, I mean, they're within a foot of your building. And with the foundation problems that you already have, it would be prudent to go ahead and cut those trees and kill the roots and not take a chance that they're continuing to undermine the
What kind of trees are
foundation. Looks like there's a pecan and something else. I'm not a landscaper. I actually have a black thumb, so. But I did take pictures of them, and they're in the last project report that I distributed. And again, it's not a good idea to have them there, and so I thought I would bring it up based on especially.
I'm here every day, and I guess sometimes you overlook things that you're used to seeing every day, but are they the ones that are by the cannon somewhere along that walkway?
The kind of, right, yes, someone trimmed one of them back a little bit, because when you walked up the stairs, you actually had to kind of go around the one that's, you know, it's like a big bushy tree
Right.
that's coming out, and then just north of this, or I guess east of the stairs, there's another one, so.
tree blocks are
So,
cute.
that one, the only thing that's gonna be done to
There in
those,
1894, it's got to stay.
when did they get planted? Were they planted by like a memory of someone? Did someone planted, you know, like, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
somebody
Was-
donated?
Somebody donated, was it an ex-judge, ex-commissioner, a citizen that some, you know, their family, you know, put it there or something, 30 years, or how old are these trees?
They don't look that old. I mean, they're not
Right, they're
that
not,
tall.
right, maybe 15, 20 years.
Not
smooth mouth. They're not smooth mouth.
No, I
No.
mean, they're fairly small.
The only reason that I'm asking is because I don't have an issue with removing the trees. I just don't want it to be something that somebody donated and then they come back into town, they moved away 20 years, they go, hey, where's my tree? We took it out. And maybe the plaque got lost or something like that. Also, have they looked at what kind of tree it is and how far the roots actually grow? Because some trees don't expand that far.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just
These are-
asking, I don't know if it's something that's donated, you know how that gets, you can get into a
Right.
messy situation by removing a tree
They
that,
can't see the memory of people.
exactly, and I
We
don't know.
can ask,
Is there any- Excuse me?
what if we do this, what if we authorize me to find somebody to bring you a report on what kind of tree it is, what the potential damage could be? Essentially, they're growing right out of the building, the roots are
Okay.
definitely.
I don't wanna damage the building, I don't want it to
They
cost
are-
the taxpayers any more money, I'm not doing that because of that. We can remove them, I don't have a problem with removing them, but nobody remembers them being, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how you would find that out if there's no plaque.
Ms.
That I
Stanley, how,
don't know.
how close to the courthouse are these trees?
I mean, they're within a foot.
Oh.
They are,
Oh, they're within
yeah,
a
these
foot?
are growing, yeah, right, I mean, your building wall is here, and these trees are here.
They're
We're
just
talking
like-
within a
they're touching the
foot.
building.
They are touching,
Okay.
Oh,
Where are those?
Mr. Karnes.
Yeah,
they're on the north end, right by the stairs.
okay, well, if they're that close to the building, we'll just remove them.
That was my,
That's not
yes,
it, somebody that
that's,
planted them.
that was my concern, they are like
What?
right on the building
It could have been a
perimeter.
love squirrel.
Old squirrel.
Okay, well then, I'm sure that it was just, they just grew there or something.
Yeah, they're not in a good, they're not in a good
Okay, I didn't know they were
location.
that
are
close, I'm
right-
sorry.
Need to find the squirrel.
They are right
I
there.
make a motion to approve authorizing Lorraine Daly, acting as owner's representative to hire someone to remove trees that are growing out of the north facade.
Facade.
Facade, okay. These are trees that are so close to the foundation that the roots could be undermining the foundation. Sharon with THC has indicated the cost for the tree removal can be turned in as a reimbursable expense.
Can I ask one more thing? I'm sorry. They're just gonna be cut down and poison's gonna be put on the roots, right? They're not-
Yes.
Okay.
That's
It's
the
not gonna be
plan.
nothing major, nothing like that.
No.
Just cut them down, poison the
And
roots.
poison the roots.
It'll kill them.
And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and find somebody that can do this work, give us a quote, and then maybe what we'll do is present at the next court meeting exactly the plan.
Yeah, because you can just cut them down and spray a good amount of remedy on them and
Mhm.
you'll kill
And
the
they'll be-
roots.
yes.
The remedy almost kill any size tree.
That's-
I second motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 4-0. Number 15, discuss approve, disapprove authorizing Lorraine Daly acting as owner's representative when necessary due to prevent project delays to approve up to $2,500 in project costs to be paid out of contingency funds when items are discovered and actions required prior to a regular scheduled commissioners court meeting. This will allow the project to stay on schedule when a delay could cost more than the item needing approval. Any such authorizations would be included in the weekly project report and presented at the next scheduled commissioners court meeting.
So this is on here because one item that I actually did tell the contractor you need to keep going because the cost of stopping the project and delaying was gonna cost more than actually going through with the work that needed to be done is as they started taking off the tile roof on the areas where we're gonna be putting slate roof, they discovered that some of the rafters and some of the roofing membranes were rotted wood. So the rotted wood was going to have to be repaired and replaced. Stopping the project and waiting for approval to tell the contractor, yes, we need you to do this work, would cost more than the actual cost of going ahead and replacing the wood. So I told them to keep going and that I would present at the next court meeting to see if I could get authorization to make such approvals of small amounts of money when the work had to be done, there was no question about it, not like the lightning protection where you had options. I mean, the rotted wood is going to have to be replaced. And so I could tell them to continue working, and then they're working on the pricing at the same time as doing the work. And then we, of course, negotiate and make sure that the pricing is fair, and then I would present it at the next regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meeting. So this will enable us to do, to keep the project moving, because every day that we delay it is a cost.
I don't want to throw anything on your fire, but I believe the authorization of spending money is exclusively the bailiwick of the Commissioners Court. And I think there are several statutes that do not allow an appointment and transferring of that power to an individual.
If it's, if these are project contingency funds that are already allocated, will that make a difference?
I don't know, but I believe that you're getting into an area that needs to be looked into, because the delegating powers of the Commissioners Court to an individual cannot be done. Whether or not it covers that because of the location, because of where it's at, the fund itself, I don't know.
So if we could check
You
and
need to-
see.
Just as caveats, all I'm giving.
Right. If it's, because these are project contingency funds, so the funds are already allocated to the projects, it's just whether or not,
I understand what you're saying.
so if there's a way to handle it, because otherwise, other than calling a special meeting to quickly say, yes, we need to replace rotted wood, and then, the contractor, we have to tell them to stop the work, and then they're gonna hit us for damages saying that we're stopping the work and we need to pay them for their time. My experience as an architect, if we have a project contingency, the architect has had the ability to go ahead and authorize the allocation of those project contingency funds. Of course, nothing over and above what's already allocated to the project.
Bob, would that be your personal opinion as a citizen, or is this your legal opinion as county attorney? Do you
Make a
think we ought to
difference.
stop the project and spend more money than give
No, I
our
don't know.
authorizer?
What I'm saying is, I'm just giving you a caveat, do whatever the hell you want. But I'm telling you that you cannot delegate the power of the Commissioners Court to an individual. Whether that's being done here or not, I don't know, that's what I've heard. Do whatever you want to. I'm just telling you that that's the caveat that I'm giving, okay?
Bob, I think your opinion is somewhat skewed a little bit, because
Somebody asked you
you're not
what your
for
opinion of my
the
opinion.
courthouse restoration project.
Or could, Mr. Busman, could we create maybe like a line item within the other item, line item, something like that to work? And I understand what you're saying, but could we maybe like create a line item? Or could she just call, I
I
guess?
think you're still messing, you're still dealing with the money
Yes, sir.
that the authority of the Commissioners Court is being
What if,
delegated.
what if she would call like me or Pete, not that she could call her because we have,
You don't have the authority either.
it has to go to Commissioner's Court? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
So
I'm
when
not
we build this
saying,
new jail, the jail will fall under the same guidelines, the same rules and procedures.
It's
as
not
this
on the
courthouse.
agenda. Come on, stay with us.
So what do
If you and
what do
Mr. Busman wanna
what do you-
argue,
what do you
there's a
think's the
room
best,
out
Mr.
there.
Busman?
You're not gonna do it in here.
She's gonna have to come, they're gonna have to
it's
come back
already-
and do it like.
You're attacking him personally.
We can do a quick, can we do one of those, we talked about the last time, from one day to another?
you can recess, certainly.
Right.
There's a
Can-
limit on recess, I'm not
A week,
sure.
5 days, isn't it?
I was thinking 3 days, but it's 3 or 5 days, I don't
5
know,
days.
but I can get you the answer.
Now, okay, something like to where we could get it done, because of course we want to stay within statute, of course, but,
Sure.
and I know that.
Why? Nobody's ever done it.
Stopping a project, I understand, the position you're in, because that's what we do construction too, and when we get stopped and we have to wait for someone to come and tell us what to do, yeah, it's costly, we move to another job.
Well, please understand, I'm not trying to stop anything, I'm
Right.
just telling you there is a problem here that I see.
No, I don't mean that, Mr. Bud, I don't mean that, we're trying to stop them in any way. I'm just saying, I understand their part, they can't move ahead. But Mr. Busman's saying that we have to stay within statute by coming to the full Commissioner's Court, because none of us have the power. So what's the quickest way we can do that to when, no, I'm sorry, I'm kind of babbling now. How many spots did they find? Is it already done?
Yeah, I told them to proceed with, on the rotten wood, I told them you need to proceed with removing the rotten wood and replacing the rotten wood, and you need to be preparing your price proposal for us. I told them, don't stop the project because it was going to cost more than replacing
Well, that could be
the
held
wood.
more like a.
So, it's,
change
there's,
order.
there's something called a construction change directive. When you
Right.
haven't negotiated a price yet,
Right.
you can tell the contractor, proceed with the work while we're working on the pricing. So,
It's called a change order, and I think
You-
that's probably your best fit. Again, I'm not trying to throw a wrench into anything, I'm just
Right.
giving you a caveat.
well, then why don't we, why don't, if the authorizing of the up to $2,500 is it could be a problem with statute, why don't we put on the next Commissioners Court agenda to allow me to make a decision as to whether or not we should issue a construction change directive. And I'll send you like the definitions of what these are. Construction change directive lets me make a professional opinion that we need the contractor to keep going. This is emergency type work, and then we'll be working out the pricing and presenting it to the Commissioners
Be
Court.
informed and change
And-
order.
That makes a lot more
And it'll
sense.
turn into a
Because it has
change order.
nothing involving
Yeah.
her with money.
Yeah, it'll
And
turn
you're
into a
doing
change order.
which is a
Mhm.
very common thing.
Yeah,
And
again, it will,
change order the same
it'll
thing.
only be an emergency item. I mean, like the lightning protection, I'm not gonna make any decisions that, have options, but if I feel like there's no option and it has to be done, then we'll go that method. And hopefully, we won't be, we've got a lot of the work done, the masonry restoration's going well, and we've got
Looks good.
into the roof now, so,
Lorraine kills lots of trees, sending us stuff. She wants more.
Bob,
Think
could you
about around the courthouse now.
maybe give the court a opinion in writing instead of saying you think that the statute says this and you think the statute's, can you give
All I
us?
did was tell you there's a
in a
caveat,
fact-
I'm giving you a
Can
heads
you
up.
give it to me in writing? I mean, 'cause I've never seen this.
You read the statute?
no action,
Okay, we can go action.
on to the next item.
Okay, we're gonna skip to, Maureen, I think you're done. Are you
yes,
done?
thank you very much.
Do you have anything else, Maureen, that you wanna do?
I don't.
And I just wanna, real quick, before I finish, you, Luana, we got two
Sorry
of our.
about that.
We're okay. Okay, we got two of our EMS personnel here, and just in case, I know that we hear a lot of bells and whistles and ringing and dinging nowadays. I wanna go ahead and do their proclamation while they're here. Gretchen Dupnick and Stephen Stelly, excuse me, my apologies.
Barbara,
Yes.
you can continue with the agenda, and if it looks like it's gonna get lengthy, then I'll say,
Oh,
please
okay.
insert me.
Well, I can get you done. We can pay the
Well,
bills.
there's some things I'd like to be here for in case.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll give y'all the proclamation. Hold on, I'm gonna find it here. Here it is. If y'all would like to. We put it on pretty paper, and after Carol and I sign it, you can have the pretty paper, but if y'all would like to read it, because it's us that appreciate you versus us reading it for you. We know y'all been very busy lately. We see you a lot.
Thank you. And we appreciate this so much, so we wanted to come today. The EMS Week proclamation to designate the week of May 20th through 26th, 2012 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others, and whereas the members of emergency and medical services teams, whether career or voluntary, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, I, Barbara Nyber Shaw, Karnes County Judge, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 20th through 26th, 2012 as Emergency Medical Services Week. With the theme EMS, anytime, anywhere, we'll be there. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities.
You know, you guys do a big job, and that's one time I say thank you. I don't know if way too much of y'all nowadays, way too much of you. I make a motion that we approve this designation, excuse me, and I will designating the week of May 20th through 26th as EMS week in Karnes County and allow the county judge to execute the proclamation.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 4-0. I know y'all need to leave. If y'all let us sign the pretty one, Carol, will you sign it real quick and stamp it, let them go? We have a plain one, because Carol's copier don't get pretty paper when she puts it in records anyway.
While you take care of that, Stephen's going to tell you about a program that we're going to be doing, and we've already started some promotion in the community, Mile of Life, but we'll be doing some more during EMS week. Stephen?
Yeah, I'm not much of a public speaker, so kind of bear with me. I won't take too much of y'all's time. We're trying to promote Vial for Life. Basically, it's a how do I put this?
What is?
It's a program basically for senior citizens, or not only senior citizens, but people with anybody with extensive medical history.
Chronic health problems.
We give them these packets, and they come with 2 forms in there to fill them out, fill all their medical history out. It comes with 2 stickers. You put 1 sticker on the baggie, which you already have done, and the other sticker will go on your front door. So anytime there's an emergency, whether it be fire, EMS, whatever, any emergency medical personnel coming to the house will know exactly what kind of medications they have, what kind of illnesses or medical history that they might have. So it just makes it easier for us, and it promotes senior safety along with safety like we're trying to.
Saves time that can be vital, because we can go one place rather than having to go and gather up medications and trying to find history. And sometimes there's not someone there that can give us that information readily. So we hope that, everyone who has someone or knows someone in your family and neighbors in the community that has medical history, has potential of being, greater potential of being, one of our clients in EMS. Ask them to do this information, and it'll make it a lot easier. And I think all family members, even if your family is far away, it can give you peace of mind of knowing that if there's a medical emergency, the team, whoever the professionals, the EMS people that get there, can get the information readily. So we will be out in the community that week, and we hope that you'll help promote that program for us.
And all they gotta do
Vial
is
of Life.
fill it out and put it in the refrigerator, considering everybody has a refrigerator, right? So they put it in there, and it makes it easier for emergency personnel to diagnose the problem quicker.
Put it in the refrigerator?
In the refrigerator.
It won't burn in the
It
refrigerator.
won't burn, yeah.
Oh.
It's the same place in every house.
Yep.
Right.
And everybody owns a refrigerator.
Right. Yeah, there's a magnet that goes on the door, right? Or is it-
No, it's just a magnet that we
Okay.
put.
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
Thank you
We
for coming
appreciate
in
this.
today. We appreciate it. Okay. Okay, let's go. You know what? Y'all want to finish? Well, you know what? Where are we? Let's go back up to number 6, reading of minutes. Did everybody have the time to review the minutes? I think everything was okay. Did anybody have any questions or corrections? So let's go to number 7, which is to review and or correct Commissioners Court minutes for the month of April. I make a motion to accept the minutes after review.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 4-0. Number 8, James has respectfully requested that we pass this item.
Pass or no action?
Pass.
No action.
No action, pass, whatever.
If I want it on there again, I'll put it back on.
Number 16, we're going to go to discuss, approve, disapprove, designating the week of May 7th through 11th, 2012 as Teacher Appreciation Week in Karnes County, and allow me to execute if approved. You can't get teachers here during Commissioners Court. They're busy people. Do y'all want to hear it though? It's not very long, I can read it. But I have 4. We did 4 on pretty paper so each school could have one of their own. And then I did a white one for Carol because, like I said, when she scans them, it doesn't matter what color they
That's
are.
discrimination.
So it just says, whereas a strong, effective system of free public education for all children and youth is essential to our democratic system of government, And whereas the United States and the state of Texas has made considerable progress in the social, technological, and scientific fields due to our system of free and universal public education. And whereas much of this progress can be attributed to the qualified and dedicated entrusted with the educational development of our children. And whereas teachers should be accorded high public esteem, reflecting the value of community places on public education. And whereas it is appropriate that teachers be recognized for their dedication and commitment to educating our children. Now therefore, I, Barbara Nyber Shaw, County Judge of Karnes, the County of Karnes, Texas, do here proclaim May 7th through 11th, 2012, as Teacher Appreciation Week in Karnes County, and urge all citizens to pay tribute to our public school teachers. Passed this 8th day of May by the Commissioners Court of Karnes County, Texas.
I'll make a motion to approve designating the week of May 7th through the 11th, 2012 as Teacher Appreciation Week in Karnes County, and allow county judge to execute the proclamation.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries. Carol, we'll just sign them all before you leave and stamp them, and I'll deliver them, or we'll deliver them, or. Okay. There's another one in here, where are we? It says number 18, discuss approve passing a county road repair resolution requesting that the Texas Transportation Commission and the Legislative Board convene an emergency session to provide assistance to Texas counties to repair and rehabilitate county roads and allow the county judge to execute. And that's me on here, but technically it's not me, but it's me. It's the South Texas, it's the Texas Judges and Commissioners Conference met in West Texas. They just met in Odessa, and I don't think any of us go to that. I know sometimes we have to catch up hours, we do, but nobody, did anybody go to West Texas? Well, some people go just to get their hours in, wherever. But they did a proclamation while they were at the Governors and Commissioners Convention, asking that every Commissioners Court pass this resolution to ask for money for emergency session. And it's in your package. Is this the county? Yeah. It's the County Road Repair Program. And this one will go to Jim Allison, who is General Counsel for County Judges, and he'll present it to the legislature for us.
The motion should be not to allow the county judge to, but to authorize the county judge. There's a difference.
To authorize? Okay, we'll capture that, thank you. You got that, Carol? Will you help me out on those?
There's a difference.
And this is what the proclamation says.
Mandatory versus precatory. Isn't that a big word? I learned it last night.
Okay, it says, whereas Texas is currently experiencing record oil and gas drilling activity, and whereas new drilling and exploration technology has tremendously increased the oil and gas truck traffic on county roads, and whereas this truck traffic has literally destroyed many county roads, creating a safety hazard for the public, and whereas Texas counties are dependent upon the property tax and have no source of funding to repair the damage from this oil and gas truck traffic, and whereas immediate assistance is required to protect the public and prevent further deterioration of the county roads. Now therefore be resolved that the Commissioners Court of Karnes County, Texas requests that the Texas Transportation Commission and the Legislative Budget Board convene an emergency session to provide assistance to Texas counties to repair and rehabilitate the county roads.
I'll make a motion to approve passing the county road repair resolution requesting that the Texas Transportation Commission and Legislative Board convene an emergency session to provide assistance to the Texas counties to repair and rehabilitate the county roads and authorize the county judge to.
I second it.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries 4-0. Carol, that one's going to need a little stamp and a pre-signature too. And then the next one is, and obviously you can see that we're not the only county having this problem if they're discussing this in West Texas. So the next one is mental health patients, and this one is to disapprove passing a mental health patients resolution that the Commissioners Court of Karnes County, Texas hereby requests that the Governor, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Speaker of the House immediately convene a meeting of the Legislative Budget Board and transfer sufficient funds to enable the admission of these mentally ill persons to a state facility and end the unconscionable practice of holding these prisoners within a county jail. You know, we have that one. That's one of those that we meet with Geo a lot on. So we all know that we need the money, we just don't know where to get it. So this one is the mental health patients, and this one says, whereas the Texas counties are currently forced to hold mentally incompetent prisoners for an average of 6 months while awaiting court order transfer to a state mental health facility. Whereas each of these pretrial inmates is costing the local taxpayer approximately $9,000 during this period of incarceration. Whereas the county jail is not an appropriate facility for the mentally ill, and these prisoners pose a high risk of injury to themselves, the jail staff, and other prisoners. And whereas the State District Court in Karnes County has ordered the Department of Health Services to receive these prisoners within 21 days of a judge's order, and where instead of accepting its responsibility, the state has appealed this order, and whereas this delay by the state is increasing the cost to our taxpayers and continuing this improper practice. Now therefore be it resolved that the Commissioners Court of Karnes County, Texas hereby request that the Governor, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Speaker of the House immediately convene a meeting of the Legislative Budget Board and transfer sufficient funds to enable the admission of these mentally ill persons to a state facility and end the unconscionable practice of holding these prisoners within a county jail.
Is that your motion?
No, that was a proclamation. I'm out of breath.
And y'all know, when they said, when you hold them in the county jail, that when they get a free, or bed open for them, and them beds are in El Paso, Rusk, up around Dallas, Fort Worth area, they're in Beaumont, so they're not close. There's not very many get to go to Sash. Because when they get an open bed, that's where we go. So we do a lot of transporting on mentally, people, on mental people. So this is a great thing. I'm glad the governor and all them stepping up to play, because I mean, it's hard to hold these people in a local facility here.
Nobody wants them. You know, it's not their fault they're mentally ill.
Right.
You can't stop it.
But they're a hazard to, like I said, the guards and to their self. I mean, this is a problem we've been fighting for a while here. So this is good.
Can I make a motion to approve passing a mental health patients resolution that the Commissioners Court of Karnes County, Texas hereby requests that the Governor, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Speaker of the House immediately convene a meeting of the Legislative Budget Board and transfer sufficient funds to enable the admission of these mentally ill persons to a state facility and end the unconscionable practice of holding these prisoners within the county jail.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 5-4-0, excuse me.
You all have to sign that one, I think.
They didn't have that on the thing, do we all need to sign it? I mean, if they need, we all just sign it?
It's just for it.
Okay.
Get the right
Can you sign?
Exactly, Judge.
We'll authorize you to sign it.
Okay.
Just keeping it straight.
Number 20 is acknowledgement of election judges for polling places.
I just gave you all a copy, just to let you know, these will be the judges that are at each precinct, poll the day of the election. They were appointed 2 years ago, so they've continued that appointment until the reappointment. That will be there, and then also the next one is a list of the people that will be working on election day at the central count station, for after the polls close at 7.
Just wanted to know, Carol, that's it? Okay. Carol, did you say both of them? Did you do 20 and 21?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, okay, and the list of, I did both 20 and 21. 21, the list of central count stations. Those are the people that'll be waiting for the judges to return with their ballots and results from their machines, and those will be the only people allowed in the building that evening after 7 o'clock. I'll post that on the front door as well.
Number 22, is that it?
Yes.
Go now? Okay. Number 22 is discuss the delivery of voting machines and hiring of workers to help deliver. Discussion to include request for use of county truck to pull the trailer.
Unless I find someone who's willing to use their truck to hire them. In the past, it's been done by, well, what I've told it's been done by either Road and Bridge or someone has helped deliver those machines on weekends. The election is on a Tuesday, so generally the delivery is Sunday and Monday. It usually takes more than one day to deliver 15 places of machines and get there and set them up and do all that. So, what we talked about doing is hiring someone to do that as I follow to set the machines up. It's a big job. There's several big pieces of equipment that have to go to each place. So I'll need to hire someone, probably a minimum of 3 people, 2 people for sure, and someone to drive a truck with a trailer on it. It's a U-Haul trailer that we load up for each precinct.
Is that money already in your budget, Carol?
In the past, Road and Bridge has always graciously done the delivery as well as some of the constables. Since it is on non-working hours, can the court authorize Road and Bridge to do that?
It is, the day of the election is the day after Memorial Day, so it's a holiday weekend. And delivery is tough to get it. Each precinct judge has to meet us at the precinct to open it, to receive the equipment. And so, it's gonna be tough to get anyone, it's gonna be tough to get someone to work as well.
You mean on that Saturday, on that Monday?
Or Sunday and Monday. Sunday and Monday is when we usually deliver, and then the election is Tuesday. And I don't really want to leave the equipment there a long time, several days before the election. The ballots won't be there, but the equipment will be there. So, any suggestions? I mean, I can tell you what other counties do that I've talked to, that I've gotten responses from, but it just depends. It's a county decision. Some counties, the commissioners deliver the machines to each of their polling places. Some counties do use Road and Bridge. Some counties hire outside help. So it's just a matter of whatever's decided by Commissioner School.
Well, if we used the county road and bridge before, I suggested we ask Jeff if they can arrange helping you out that way.
He had a couple of men that have done that in the past, and I don't know if they're still there. I know last time was Scott Guitar, but he's not there, and he was with someone else, and they knew immediately how to load everything and unload it into the precincts and set them up for us to just be there and do the programming and turn them on. They got really good at it. I think we did 7 one day and 8 the next day.
You know, a problem in case anybody gets hurt.
But they're still county employees. They're doing county work.
I think the question arose, what we got in trouble about was outside of their statutory duties, because they're elected. It was an elected thing. I mean, Road and Bridge, it wasn't enacted by us. It was an elected position that the voters voted somebody in to do a specific job. And they voted in a Road and Bridge unit system, and that's why we keep getting in trouble. And it's the only reason I brought all this up is because everybody calls in complaining about their Road and Bridge, and roads are probably worse now than ever because of all the oil field traffic, so everybody's angry. I mean, everybody's angry. And if you didn't get a rig, you're 10 times angrier. Or you didn't get a bill, or you didn't get a check. I mean, the anger is very atrocious. What ended up happening, I've even had people that are former county judges calling me and saying, that's not what the voters voted in. The voters didn't vote in a hand can. And so we're taking a lot of heat and taking somebody off Road and Bridge duties, I mean, because it's not what was voted in, that's what we're really catching a lot of heat on.
But this would be after hours, not taking them away from their duties.
Are we gonna have to pay them overtime for it?
They'd get comp time. They would get
I don't think
compensatory
that's a good
time
idea.
off.
And I mean,
Hire somebody to do it.
and I mean, if she's gonna run into an issue and it's gonna be a large problem, and we keep putting these Band-Aids on things, I mean, if we have to do it, yes, let's do it, but if not, can we find something, for future years where we're not, hammered the most because I have a phone and people can find me on these Road and Bridge things, and it's becoming a very difficult thing to fend off. I mean,
Hire somebody to do it and get it done.
If we do that, it will require declaring an emergency and amending the budget.
You can
Because
amend the
it's not
budget
in the
without an
budget.
emergency, as long as you don't have to add anything to it, right?
But we don't have spare money anywhere to,
This was not budgeted for.
I know.
we could do it for the future budget years, take that into consideration in our election costs, but it is not monetarily in the budget now.
Do you have an item for election cost?
Mhm.
Is it broke?
It will be after the elections, because we
I'm
always.
sorry, I don't know what to tell you to do, but I don't think using the people is a good idea, even after work.
Well, I'll tell you what, for precinct 3, I can get my men from a construction company to deliver them. I don't have a problem. You said it's 2 days because it's all 4 precincts, right?
Right, well, because I'm delivering to 15 places, but,
Okay.
you know, I don't know how many polling places are in your precinct.
That's what I said, I can meet with you, I can talk about it, and I can send my guys and a truck, trailer and everything. I'll get precinct 3 delivered. I mean, it's gonna be, we've always used in the past, the only reason I'm saying is it's because, in the past, we've always used the county employees all the time, and I don't have a problem with using them, and I really do not. If that's what we're gonna vote on, then, you know, I don't have a problem with that. But if it's gonna be a big, big issue on my part and my precinct, I mean, it's
Right,
not.
and I don't want it to be.
It really, I'd probably, 4 or 5, I can't
You
remember,
might
8,
have-
15, 1, I think
You
there's
might have
4,
4.
I think.
I
Well,
think Pete might have the most. He's not
yeah,
here.
I really don't, because you said that on another counties, the commissioners did it, help
So
out.
in some of the counties, the commissioners will deliver to their polling places, and then the clerks go and set the machines up. And I don't know what they use, what their machines are. We have 3 big machines, not big, but there's 3 pieces of equipment that have to go to each place, along with the supplies, which I take the supplies. And, you know, about 7 precincts worth of equipment will fit in the U-Haul trailer that we rent. So you can't do them all in one day typically, because once you load the trailer and go to each place and unload and set it up, you're pretty much done for the day. So it's usually 2 days worth of delivery.
But if we like split it up, or someone, like if I'm willing to take precinct 3,
Right.
I can carry them on the 16-foot flatbed trailer, right? Do they have to be covered? Do I have to bring a cover?
They need to be covered. They
Because I
need to
have
be on
some
a flat
cover,
bed.
I have some covered trailers, I can
Yeah.
run them in one of my covered trailers.
These are electronic type
Right.
machines. that
Right.
can-
Okay, because I got, run them in the covered trailer.
Yeah,
Do you have somebody in mind that you would hire if we agreed to?
No, I don't yet. I will make some phone calls. and-
It's either that or use the county, because right now you're gonna be kind of strapped for time right now, right? A few more
Well,
weeks, like 3
yeah.
weeks more?
Right.
Get the candidates to do it.
Excuse me?
Get the candidates to do it.
Well, that's not a bad idea. I mean, you know,
Amend the budget, pay for it.
Those guys that helped you with all the training, he had how many guys there?
In the past, nobody's ever had it before, they never messed up anything with 3 or 4 we hired.
Yeah, but then
That's
there's-
gonna actually,
I have to see if he'll use his own.
you know what Tracy just said, Tracy just said right now, if somebody injures one of those machines, that's exactly right. You hire an outsider, who we gonna hire? They're gonna charge the heck out of them because they have to have liability insurance and all this. If we use the county employees, they're still insured under us. If one of the machines happens to fall or something, we take that full responsibility. But say we hire Joe Blow, right?
Right.
And not Joe Baker, Joe Blow, and they have to flip one of those machines, and we're trying to get out pretty cheap, and we hire someone at X amount of dollars, it's a good price, right? And, you know,
Right.
and they flip one of those machines,
They should have insurance if they're not business anyway.
right? But you know,
But if
you
we're
know how
hiring someone in
that
that
goes.
business, it's gonna cost a whole lot more than if we just hire.
Not if you drop the machine.
Huh?
Judge,
What would
did
happen,
you
Mr. Busman,
say-
if anybody would drop a machine, who would, even if it's county employees, us, whatever, who would be responsible for that?
We
The
don't
county,
do a
right?
lot of
County
insurance
insurance?
that
Okay.
so we
Not
get a lot of
insurance. I doubt the
local
insurance
insurance
covers it.
that say you
Oh, they wouldn't?
Well, I'm not saying they're not, I said I doubt it. Because
can't.
you
Because
got
it's an
people
elected, he's an elected position.
doing things from,
Appointed by us.
So even if we would hire, like say we would hire someone, we go to an outsider and say they drop it, the county would have to cover it no matter what.
I doubt that. If you hire somebody that you make them responsible for the delivery, they'll have insurance for it, and then cover it.
Well, I think in the previous discussions in court meetings, that the judge made it pretty clear that road and bridge, if they go do something out of their normal duties and they get hurt, then TAG is not gonna pay for their
It was a
medical.
question.
But didn't you say, I can't remember, I'm asking, that if Commissioner's Court approved it, if it was outside of their statutory duty, but approved by Commissioner's Court, they could?
Well, I thought
yeah,
And I
last
don't even know, I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm putting you,
on.
I don't even know if your guys would do it, so I'm sorry for
Being
that.
being a holiday, I bet I won't be able to find one.
I know,
That's a 3 week.
But what you were saying, Judge, is if they got hurt moving,
Why is that a
you know,
holiday?
whatever,
If
they
you
hurt
can-
their back or something, the taxes are gonna pay because they're doing something they
We literally
don't.
take them out of their statutory duties. See, I didn't understand that.
That's what you said, right? So,
Yes.
Carol,
I didn't
is there
understand
a
that
time
part either,
limit
and I
that
was
that
like,
machine has to
oh,
be in, or can it go even a week ahead of time?
Well, but then you have the liability of that machine being out of the county's control for a week,
Oh.
into a place that's probably not,
Oh, okay.
Insured.
yeah, it's probably in an empty building for a
Well,
week.
sometimes those buildings are used during the weekend.
Yeah,
They're rented out for other purposes.
true.
I don't think we said anything the other time. We did say that as long as Commissioner's Court asked them to do something, it was within us to tell them, but I don't think we designated it to just be road duties. And I thought that kind of meant that they could do anything.
I've been questioned on it, and I did ask for legal opinion, and it's coming. I was told.
On that.
I was told we're not supposed to treat them as statutory duties. Because they're elected by the people to
Let's
work
not.
on a unit system to work on roads.
We're too
not
far
to
into
manage
this.
them.
But as of right now, we don't have it, right?
I was told we're not supposed to. I can share with you what I was told.
Right, I understand.
I don't want to get us in trouble. I don't want to start.
So who would we hire? I mean, it's gonna have to be somebody that's
Jeff's already worried about his
insured.
people not showing up on that day
I know.
anyway.
We're gonna have to hire someone that's insured and,
How about the commissioners themselves?
I said,
Well, that's what he just, James did.
I said I would do it, I mean, I would do it. But the only problem is that I was thinking about that, they have to be carried in one of the, it's a big vehicle, right, that you're gonna get?
It's just a U-Haul.
And the cover trailers I have, they're not that big, they're like 8 by 14, 8 by 16, so I don't know if they'll be able to fit all of that in there. We may have to use the U-Haul truck,
Well, I can rent a U-Haul, that's what I normally.
but between all of us, we're gonna be on top of each other.
It's a trailer, I'm sorry, a trailer, not a truck.
You know what I mean, Noah?
And there are monies in the budget to rent the U-Haul trailer.
Carol, that's
It's
the-
not to hire somebody to,
The
Can you
the white
rent more
one.
than,
Got you.
Lou, can you rent more than one trailer?
Yeah, sign it, it has
Commissioner
it back,
to a
they
But
can sign it.
what day would,
that's
what-
not in the budget.
What day
We
would
just
we use them?
budgeted for
You know,
one.
like if, say we would happen to do it or something, say the commission would do it, that way we'd eliminate all this BS, right?
Well,
And we could go ahead and do it. I don't have a problem with doing it, except I would have to meet with you and then you tell me what, you know,
Work
what
out.
to do and everything.
The,
But we need maybe two, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
We need maybe 2 U-Haul trailers because if it's one, we're all gonna have to, we're gonna have to do it in 4 different sections and somebody might be busy at that, so you know how different things come up and what if one person's busy, so I would say 2 of them and they give us a whole day.
You get one and I get one.
It probably will take 2 days. It's a lot to do. It sounds like it's really easy, but once you load, well, we never had 2 trailers, so. And then you coordinate with the precinct judges to be at that location to open it up because they have the keys. Not every place is gonna be an open location. I mean, they have to be there to accept the machines and to, you know, unlock the facility wherever it is. And then, so, you know, we just set up a time with them and we try to coordinate, you know, the north end of the county and the south end of the county. Just to get the judges there, the precinct judges, so that they're there to open it up, so. And it is a holiday
Carol,
weekend.
to set up every machine at every time, right?
What, I'm sorry?
You need to be with
Yes.
the machine at every time, you're the
Yes.
one who set them up.
Yeah, but I have a clerk too that can help and will help, so somebody has to be there to get the machines programmed and make sure they work that
Because
day.
the times that I've delivered them when I was on the road system, we just went and dropped them off, set up all those cardboard boxes, we set everything up for them, and then
Yes.
after that, some of the ladies were there and they took care of everything
Yes,
else.
exactly, and that's really all you have to do.
That's all we did, we just got them off, rolled them in, put them up, because I've done it before, so it's really not that big of a deal.
It's not.
What
It's
does it
not.
cost to rent one of those trailers?
I can't remember. off the top of
40,
my head.
30?
And you know
It's
what,
not a lot, we have to
It
keep
used to be
it up
$29.95. $29.95.
a day.
we,
And we-
$60 per precinct and.
$29.95 a day. I think it might have gone up to $39, but, we used to do a lot of that when Ms. Jones was here.
and I can't, you know, sure, I'm sorry, you know, I remember taking them in the back of a pickup, I don't remember having, I mean, I don't think,
I wouldn't put them on a flatbed trailer, but you can put them in the back. I don't-
yeah, because I remember we backed up one of the county trucks back there, because it was, I know it was me, Junior Wagner, and it was one of the other guys, I don't know if it was Jez, Raymond, George, it was one of the other guys. It
Yeah,
was
one
me
of
and
the
Junior.
machines is a rolling machine, so that would have to be secured, but the other 2 are in cases, big cases.
Because we had them in the back of just a pickup. I don't know.
So I'll just plan on the commissioners then, right? That's what
Well,
we're saying.
I don't know, what do y'all want to do, guys, yo?
What do you think, Judge?
I was saying, she said that she doesn't have the, explain that to him?
Okay, when all this kept coming up about the road and bridge things, we were getting hammered on road and bridge complaints. I mean, we have files this thick. So when we started, everybody started saying, well, statute says this or statute says that, because people started calling in. So I gave the statute to Mr. Busselman. He says, well, you know, it's kind of one of those things, and I hate to say it, well, we've never done it before, so everybody's used to not following the statute. So then, I told y'all, we put that all on this third, and I brought y'all back some of it, but not all of it. And then I asked Mr. Busselman to read it again. He says, well, if you read it and you actually read it, it says the commissioners, it says the voters voted in a position. They voted in a road and bridge administrator, and that this person is supposed to do road and bridge duties. And this person has road and bridge duties all over the county. Any road, bridge, or highway in the county, he can work on. I mean, actually, that's what the statute says. It doesn't just say county roads, it says any road, bridge, or whatever in the county. And that by us pulling him off his road and bridge duties, we are kind of denying the will of the voters. We're not, that they voted him in to do road and bridge. And so when they're all calling in and complaining, that's when we start, you know, finding out that we're doing something wrong. So I asked, are we supposed to be pulling them off these road and bridge duties? And the answer was no. I asked Mr. Busselman, and then, you know, he said no, so I asked Ross, I said, what do you think? He said, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. He started part of the opinion, he hadn't finished it, he said the part, but it's not finished. Which says that, because it's a position elected by the voters and we're taking them out. It would almost be like me saying, well, you're not gonna be commissioner today, you're gonna do something else today. We decided you're gonna do something else
What if
today.
it's on your days off?
It's on
No,
the-
what if it's on the workers' days off, like Friday, Saturday? I know that, he's leaving.
Yeah, they're off on Friday.
But is that something we can offer them comp time?
No, because it'd be an extra side job. They're off on, they're not working on the county, that's a county holiday, so if they want to get hired, that's, it'd be it'd run through the pay cycle, like you pay the rest of your election workers. It would not be
On the Friday and Saturday?
on a Friday, well, if it's.
Because that would be their days off. That wouldn't be a holiday.
Yeah, it'd be their days off.
Bob would take your
So
place.
could we give them comp time
Bob
for
would
that?
take his
You
place.
hire someone?
I think we should.
You just need to hire
I
somebody.
mean, that would
Carol,
not,
let
not
Carol
be
do
a
it.
bond on these road and bridge duties, you know what I'm saying?
Are you okay if we hire someone?
And we'll amend the budget to do it.
They'll just have to provide adequate insurance.
How are we gonna put that as an
You
emergency?
can
have to
get
provide
a 4-day.
Whoever I
insurance
hire?
there, you know, covered.
But they don't have, who you hire should have insurance
Well, they
already.
will. I mean, we're going to Shane, you know, you ain't gonna get somebody else to bring it up.
Is there another, can you hire anybody that weekend?
They have to, if they have to provide a bond and everything else. I just
Do it
don't-
Saturday and Sunday.
What?
Saturday and Sunday.
We're gonna have to bring someone from out of town to come and do that, right?
Scott back here
It's gonna
said
cost
that,
much.
program, Carol.
Howard Moving Company.
We're going back and forth.
Heard you had your program.
On the moving company?
Got the light.
I'll take it.
Then you bring them
No, it's
back with your old grant.
Here's the.
All right. Let's do
How much would the moving company, how much would the moving people cost us? Because they'll have their own covered truck.
Well, you've been using Kimball kind of living
Kenyatta?
Would he have, is he gonna provide a bond, does he have insurance, that's, you know, that's who I would call, but if he doesn't have anything to,
You can get it all. Yeah, give it time. There is time.
You think he's gonna wanna pay for a bond just for 2 days' work?
Well, that should be more than 2 days, because they'd have to bring them back.
they have to come back the month, the day after.
It wasn't bothering me, all the other stuff. Did he haul everything over from the courthouse to?
30 minutes. Are we there?
What
So
if,
y'all wanna hire somebody?
Yes.
Make your motion.
what if you give Carol the authority to hire somebody and get prospective prices, but then come back to court because we have to amend the budget before we can actually
Okay, that's fine.
approve
It's
somebody to
considered
do
an
it?
emergency, right? I mean, I know it's an emergency because nobody's
You
gonna
have
do
to
it.
have.
If you want commissioners, constables, and sheriff.
So what do we?
And so then you'll have to have a special meeting sometime between now and the end of the month to approve this amendment and also authorize whomever y'all decide on to hire.
On that Monday?
I'm gonna say that you can find out, Carol, and then call me and we'll make an agenda.
Yes.
I'm gonna take no action. Pass.
So
Wait a minute.
she's gonna
Yeah,
that
Mr.
we
D,
can look
they
into
probably
that.
could do it in one day, but somebody has to be with them with those machines.
Understand. I understand
And then
what
they're
you're
gonna have to come
saying.
back and pick them up the day after.
So y'all don't wanna use county employees, right?
That's fine.
It's a little bit on the iffy side. Too much.
Not lights, not
Welcome to the
lights,
real
great.
world.
What we need to do is include the budget next time with handyman.
That's right. Obviously.
Something that's not. Okay, no action, then Carol's gonna come back to us. Okay, number 23, discuss, approve,
Okay.
disapprove,
Time
repair.
out. Can we skip to mine now?
Oh, where are you, Luana?
24, 27, 29.
Okay, 24, that's to, okay, you know what, guys, and what this is we actually approved this last time on this number 24, but we left a line out when we typed it, so we added the line back in. It's the same, we missed a line. And so we didn't want the agenda to read improperly. We said it properly, but the agenda did not read properly. So we included the proper language in the agenda this time.
The total amount of the amendment is not changing.
Right.
What was left out on the
So we did
first
approve it,
agenda
you know what I'm
was
saying?
Social Security and Medicare.
But you need to approve this one.
Correct.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve amending the road and bridge budget for the cost of social security, 6.2%, $1,583.23. Medicare, 1.5%, 3,000, what was it?
1.45%.
$370.27, and retirement, 13.22%, $3,375.86, with the associated with the amendment approved 3/22/12 for 2 part-time positions, $25,536 for road and bridge. Total amendment, $5,329.36.
I second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 4-0. Okay, Luana, bills?
Most bills are pretty much run of the mill. If you will notice, the very first bill is what Ms. Daly had presented earlier to MJ Boyle, $50,265.75. That is pay application number 15. Pete had asked the question at the last meeting if there is a contingency fund. There is, and it is stated on the front page of every pay application retainer. It just is not itemized out within the pay application.
So there's nothing spectacular or unusual or creative on here?
No, most run of the mill.
I make a motion to pay bills as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? No opposition, motion carries 4-0. Will you hand this to Carolyn? The next thing that Luana needs to do is her auditor's report, right?
Correct. Yes. I reviewed the treasurer's report also, and we are correct on the presentation as of April 30th. There were some corrections that needed to be made that will be made in May's business, so it will reflect on May's reports. But the last 2 pages I've included to show you what the actual cash balances by fund in the system are after these corrections would be made. So the total monies in the county coffers, which include restricted and unrestricted funds, are $11,437,249.46. All certificates of deposit were brought in as of April 30th. I asked the treasurer to do that so we could get a midpoint balance of our actual cash funds to verify what we had mid-year. and reinvestment of available funds will be accomplished today. Thank you very much for allowing me to present out of order, but I did go to Austin for the auditors.
Drive safe and be careful, Luana.
Thank you. Be careful.
Be careful. Some people can't get out.
Go to Austin?
Oh, the traffic ain't as bad
Be
there
safe.
anymore as it is here.
Okay.
Probably right.
Hold on. No, y'all sign the bills and hand it to people. Discuss approve, number 23, discuss approve, disapprove repairs or replacing bridge on County Road 277. Heard from a couple of people on that one, Jeff. We heard from a couple of people on this one.
I heard from a bunch. This bridge got cratered on one side pretty bad. I took some pictures, but my pictures didn't turn out. I put them on the computer yesterday and something with my SIM card that then wouldn't pick them up. But they were running oil field equipment over this bridge, which is a 9,000 pound per axle bridge. And one of the neighbors told me what he seen going across the bridge. He said he was surprised that it held up as long as it did. It's got 16 I-beams under it. It's got 5 I-beams underneath the bridge. They're concreted into the header walls. One of the header walls on the outside has a crack from the top all the way down into the dirt, and that's on the right-hand side. And then on the same side to the north side of the bridge, a big chunk of concrete fell out of it. And then on the opposite side of the bridge, the timbers are broke from one end to the next. Some of them are broke through and through, some of them are cracked real bad. To repair this bridge is not, with the amount of traffic that's running up and down there, we can replace the timbers on that bridge, but in a safety factor, the bridge is structurally hurt bad. I think the best thing we can do with this bridge, because this bridge is only 16 foot wide and 19 foot long, is don't make textile rules and regulations.
How far in 277 is
It's that first one, that bridge, about 2 miles down, off of 277 on the highway, off of Highway 80 to the north.
It has to be how wide? I forgot, it's been years.
It's gotta be
20?
has to be over 20 foot.
Okay, if it's the one I'm thinking about, there's one that I had there that was 19 foot, that when we did all the bridges and everything, it missed it because of a foot.
Yeah.
But the question I had on that one, later on, after a year or 2 years after we did that, it has header walls in the ground further than that, so it was a bigger bridge than that. If you dig a little bit further, there's 2 header walls that make it about 26 or 30 foot long. Could we use that? I know you probably didn't know that, but they're under there. It was a bigger bridge.
I asked that question already, and we kind of got it's what we're using now and what has been used, and that's.
Who told you that? Which one told who?
Well, that still falls into that category, because I called on the bridge department in Corpus, and I asked him some questions, one of the engineers and stuff. He said if we were using it, yes, but you're not using that span. And that's the problem, the span is very.
We're using it for support on the newer header wall.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm just saying, because there is a hidden bridge under there, and I didn't know that when we were doing that, but after we started fixing it, we bumped into it when we were fixing those header walls.
Right.
But you did look into that already, there's no way we can stick that for the state help?
It's too short.
The one that we're using now?
Yes. And I think the cheapest and the quickest repair on that bridge would be is taking it out, put 2 8-foot pipes in there, 30-foot lengths, and concrete sloped ends or build header walls on it, I believe would be the cheapest and that'd be the safest in that area. You know, with the amount of oil activity and stuff that's going on, it's a school bus route also. So, you know, there's a lot of things we need to look at, safety factors. You know, this bridge is not very wide, don't have no guards on it, rails or nothing. And as we blocked that bridge off, we put a fence on each side, we put barricades up there. The next day we went there, everything was took down, they were driving across. Maybe I should have let them keep going.
Well, do you have the money to do this?
No problem.
And what is it gonna cost?
I'm working on that right now. See, this happened last week, and I'm working on, see what the repair it, replace it. I'm gonna take a wild shot on the pipes. The pipes would be, I know they used to be, the 24 footers were around 8 foot diameter, they were around 4,000 a piece. Right now, with the price increases and everything in the last 3-4 years, I'm gonna shoot the pipes at most probably about pretty close to 7,500 a piece.
Think they're that high already?
Oh, yeah.
The
The
bridge
cost,
though has to be there,
oh, yeah, we have,
especially from the bus. I mean,
Yeah.
just people, human lives.
the bus has to drive around. Everybody, one lady said she's gonna send me a bill for driving around. So that's fine.
And who damaged these roads?
PXP is on that road, but, we,
Good luck.
I worked with them for, we tried to find out who it was. One of the landowners that was there seen a crane go across it. We were there, we seen numerous trucks go across it with, heavy equipment and stuff, and they said, we're not using that road. But trucks, when we closed it off, trucks were coming asking us how to get around the oil well. So, who damaged the bridge?
You don't know who to go after, right?
Yeah. Which company? You know, there's so many different companies that are doing the hauling for PXP, so, you know, we don't know who did it. We tried to find out.
But they're working for that company?
Yes.
I mean, if they're working for that company, isn't that company responsible? I mean, they're
Okay.
doing work for that company.
That's where
What do you think, Mr.
that's the
Reed?
reason I
That's
brought
kind of a
this up, and I
no-brainer.
wanna talk to Mr.
Whoever
Bishop
did
about
it, you got a responsibility somewhere.
At least a percentage of it, because we know that it's an older bridge, and you know, it's been, you know, there a long time. Deteriorating, you know. But I would say it would be somewhat there report to help us. And that's gonna be expensive, man.
It's hard to prove who did it.
this.
Yeah, but if they're working for a company,
You ain't caught doing it.
have you caught them, Jeff?
No.
Oh, you're just saying this is what you heard?
This is what people told me, what they saw
Okay,
the
so you're
trucks go
reporting
across.
hearsay, you're not
And when we
reporting.
closed the road off, PXP, I mean, the oil well signage, they were told to take that road and go across that bridge. There's signs on that bridge
Who told them
tonight,
to go across it?
the oil company.
What oil company?
The drilling rig that was there, I don't know,
Who told them to go across it though?
it's the drilling company that's drilling the well for PXP.
But who told the drilling company to go across the bridge?
The drilling company took.
I don't know.
company's telling the driver.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
drivers,
they're
the
telling
truck
the
drivers.
drivers to go.
But see, a lot of it, they say that, but then you see on their dash, they got their, the GPS, and they take the shortest route possible. And they don't care what's in front of them, they're gonna drive.
Jeffrey, let me ask you something. Are we really qualified to build bridges? I mean, I just really don't.
No, not bridges and stuff, but this would be taking this one out, destroying it, and putting pipes in the ground.
Okay, we're not building a bridge. We're
No, we
putting
do the
a
same
culvert.
thing with what I did in Panna Maria here a few years ago. We had a bridge that washed out after the flood. We put 3 6-foot pipes in there, concreted header walls in, we were
Okay,
done.
okay.
But
Yeah.
since
I
I have
thought
been
maybe
told
we
and
were- I thought
statute
maybe we were
lately,
building
he
a
does
bridge.
have those responsibilities.
Yeah.
Road and bridge responsibilities are his.
No,
Okay.
but I wouldn't attempt to build a bridge because that would, no, I wouldn't do that. No.
But we have to, I mean, something's gotta be done. So are you gonna go get us a cost estimate and bring it back?
Yes, ma'am.
Or-
That's what I want to do, and that's the reason I put it on. I also want to ask legal advice. Can we ask our county attorney, go after, contact PXP and go from there, because they're the ones that are in the area. They said they're not the only ones, but that's their drilling rig there. They got a company hired on, H&P is that's doing the drilling there, and the trucks were running across the bridge. Who's responsible? That's what I'd like to know, because I think they need to pay for this bridge. I don't
Bob,
think
can you call PXP after we get out of here and let them know that Jeff's having this problem? I mean, will you do it? Because it's not.
Of course, that's what y'all want me to do.
Would you please call them and ask them? I mean, I don't want some citizen driving through there and go plump, plump,
I
plump.
would really like to do it on Thursday because I've got, you know, I'd really like to do this on Thursday. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna run off in 2 days.
we got it closed off.
Okay.
You have it closed off?
Yes, ma'am.
But and people are just moving that and driving through it because they feel like
We
it?
built
Well,
it
this
since
not gonna
nine.
interfere with you
We
fixing it.
took and drove steel posts in the ground and actually put wire across it, plus we got barricades a half a mile up from the bridge, a mile away from the bridge, indicating that the bridge is closed. But the first day we put it up, they pulled the steel post out and went across.
They'll do
Do
it.
anybody, do we know who did that?
No. Your guess is as good as mine.
Fingerprints and steel posts.
I need
Well,
them
that's just
I need them
horrible. I mean,
cameras.
somebody's gonna get hurt. My concern is,
And,
somebody getting
this
hurt because
fix
of
it.
somebody else's silliness.
And,
I'll be happy to talk to people, then I'll get with you, Jeff, if it's all right on
Okay,
Thursday.
and we'll call
PXP
PXP.
is there in Canada and stuff, and I talked to one of the main
I'll
guys.
just go over and talk to them in person.
And, I think that'd be about the best bet, maybe we can get together and talk to them. And I believe that the oil company should be responsible for it.
They're
Taxpayers,
overloaded, certainly.
the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for this. The taxpayers should not have to pay
No,
for it.
because
It's hard to
they
get
were
road
way
bridge money.
overloaded.
Nobody understands that concept, because we don't get what people think we get. That's why we have that bond. That has been, Mr. Henderson does have all that.
Okay. And our farmers.
I would like to do if you use that Thursday.
We need to have a report on how much it's gonna cost, pipes, material,
I called,
cement, and concrete.
Right.
Because we're gonna have to amend.
I called the piping company, and they're figuring the pipes, they're figuring the slopes for me. And see, we're not gonna put the header walls, but we'll do slope ends where the water will come over and go across the bridge. And it'll be kind of a concrete barrier where it can't wash it out.
Jeff, get ready. I mean, Carol's getting hers ready, get yours ready. I have one on there, I forgot to put on there
Like I
too,
said, we're
so.
working on it. We called out lumber company on the timbers and stuff, but I don't wanna put the timbers on there with all the stress cracks that the concrete has in it and what they put that bridge through. I think we fix it, somebody's gonna get hurt. And being a school bus route, we need more than 16-foot width on
Well,
that.
figure out what you need.
Okay.
Figure out exactly what you need, then come back and tell us, versus giving us, that you're not gonna do this, this, and this. Tell us exactly what you need.
But I would like to do the first thing, get with Bob, and let's see what we can do with the oil company and make
And
somebody
then
else
let us know
take the
if we need to
responsibility.
amend. And even if we have to amend to pay and they pay us back, we can't leave it like that, just waiting on them to decide they wanna be a good neighbor. So,
I got phone calls and everybody screaming and hollering about the bridge being closed.
all right, get us a solid number.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You want
You wanna do your report while you're up there?
Yes, ma'am. This is all the complaints, and there's some work orders of complete. On the back side, you can see that some of them are completed. Complaints of 1 month on the roads. We're trying to keep up with the school bus routes as much as possible, working on that.
I apologize, but when y'all are out there talking, I can't hear him. There's no acoustics in this room, and it all just comes up here. So go ahead now.
I said, y'all hear this, I'm hearing it.
Can you hear all that? It just comes up here and just bounces off the wall, so.
We're working on doing some road repairs in Tracy's country right now, where the ranchers are having problems getting in and out. We're doing some repairs on them. We kind of started bouncing on doing the little repairs where we can keep people rolling, trying to keep the school bus routes bladed. We're repairing, school buses are kind of a tax to the dealers that we're paying for also, and I'm trying to keep that up so the school buses, they don't have problems, but we do have a lot of problems with the little rain we have. We're trying to run as many blades as we can, try to smooth some of these roads up and keep moving forward with them. I got some patching to do. The company we were buying our gravel from for paved patching, they told me a month on the material, so I'm looking for material to try to find it in other places, and there's a shortage of material right now in a lot of places, so we're working on that. So got a lot of things going forward, we're just trying to get it done. Anything else? Our biggest deal is the bridge, and that's something that's gonna, sure like to find something that we could, instead of the county paying for it, I'd sure like to see somebody else pay for it. Even replacing the pipes, I think the pipes would be a good deal. They'll hold the weight and everything else, yeah.
Should be cheaper, shouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it should be a lot cheaper. You build a bridge, you're talking full
Bridge engineering.
slab over plus header wall, more than that, you're talking $1 million.
But you could have an engineer to
Shorter route
design
than
it.
oil. Pad will seem like the oil company would pick on, or they use.
If we can pin them down, they probably will.
Or split the cost of it anyway.
You gonna figure what it's gonna cost y'all to do it, or Liska? You're gonna ask Liska what he was supposed to?
I'm gonna do it both ways, see what it costs if I get Liz down there, and see what he'll charge me to do it, and maybe a few other contractors, and
Ask him, Jeff, too, because, and so much work we did out there, I don't remember, but ask him on that one, he may have records on it. I believe on the header walls that it had, the existing header walls that it has now, the smaller one, I think I got him to go under there and put reinforcements underneath, like fingers. Not sure, ask them, they would put more than likely, you know.
some of that stuff is washed out, those fingers that y'all put in there, is washed out, and that's why I think with all the weight and
Starting to
stuff,
shift around.
it's starting to walk, and that's where your I-beams that are concreted into the header walls and stuff, they're beginning to crack. And that's.
It's cracking the old header walls.
It's old, it's been there for horse and buggy days.
Yeah, I know.
It's unseen its days, it needs to be replaced. That's my opinion on that. But we got a few more in your precinct that need to go through.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Mrs. Frankie, you're number 25. Mrs. Yannicek, one of y'all. When do you take over? I don't remember.
July 1st.
July 1st, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Mrs. Frankie, I wasn't trying to give you away.
Okay, year-to-date collection for the county, $4,067,105.65. That's leaving a balance of $168,579.15 for a collection rate of 96.02. On the delinquent tax collection for the county, $36,431.72, a percentage of collection 19.1476. Road and Bridge Special, year-to-date collection, $562,340.46. The balance of that account, $21,749.28 for a percentage of collection, 96.2764. On the delinquent collection, $3,122.59. The percentage of collection, 20.8267. Emergency Fire District, $322,677.10 year-to-date collection. The balance of the road, $12,877.05, 9.1625 collection rate. Total taxes collected for the delinquency, $1,920.93. Percentage of collection, 27.3816.
Thanks, Ms. Frankie. Five, discuss, examine, approve, discuss, examine, approve, disapprove treasurer's report.
And Juan had already discussed the changes that will be made in next month's meeting. It was just some posting errors from some checks that were written for CDs that the auditor's office had put in the wrong fund, so they'll get changed next month. And since we're talking about budget and trees, I would like to see the county to go paperless somehow, and possibly purchase some sort of iPads or laptops for the commissioners, and where we send them their files through PDF, and we don't have to worry about getting our papers over here, and you don't have a stack of papers. I mean, that's just a food for thought. That way I can email you my report, or you can email anything that they have to them, and they get it in one big package, and you're not sitting up there flipping through papers, you're just going through your, that's just.
And I like your idea. I think it's a great idea, because I like paperless. But we are told in training not to email each other for any reason.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you can email reports to them, or we individually would email them
Yes, y'all
reports
can,
to
as long
them.
as y'all don't email each other anything about the reports or anything like
We
that. It
can't
just,
make decisions.
don't email each other back.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I know
Bob?
there's other bigger cities that have
What do you pay any-
computers, laptops, whatever, when they're doing their commissioner's court or their city council meetings, just a food for thought.
And,
Throw the agenda in.
but we can also, that's right.
Is there any way we can email the agenda to us?
I posted on the internet. It is on the internet.
Yeah.
I know, but I mean, if we can do that, could we?
You're not supposed to communicate writing about the agenda at all.
Can't even email us the agenda? What's the difference between
Well,
email and?
They used to email the agenda to me when I posted it on the website. Somebody would send it to me.
So what's in the harm in emailing the agenda to the commissioner?
I mean, it's not on the agenda for discussion, we're not supposed to go there, but I will tell you, I'm not supposed to email y'all anything about the agenda. It's caused so many issues lately, and there's more and more issues on that whole thing about that. But anyway,
anyways,
on the treasurer's report, it looks like everybody signed it, but I didn't have a motion, so.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor, say aye. You said
To
no?
approve. To approve it as
Oh,
presented.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I thought you said no.
I'm sorry, I forgot, I just said I'll
Okay.
make the motion, I didn't put what, it could have been.
I
me
gotcha.
too. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you need me for anything else, Judge? Because I need to do a payroll. Do you
Okay,
need me for
no, no,
anything
no,
else?
no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank
Maybe you may check too.
You know, if you look at statute with me though, it does say aborted. I don't know why, but look with me.
What are we supposed to do?
Never mind, I'm just asking him to look with me. Okay, we're good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. No opposition? Aye. Okay, we are to number 28. Reports, fees, fines, money collected through the following departments. County Clerk Carol, she left us, Carol, did you keep one for yourself to file?
Yes, I did.
Okay. She left us a total for the month after checks dispersed of, did you want me to read it or you read it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. $74,539.25. District Clerk,
She did not leave a report, but she asked me to read this for her.
okay.
It says to Judge Shaw and County Commissioners, at this time, my monthly April civil report is not complete. The district clerk's office is in transition, inputting all civil and tax cases into the Hill Country system that previously had not been done. Along with handling daily business, court dates, etc., my deputies are inputting current filings of new cases, whether it be criminal, civil, or tax. The district clerk's office is encountering issues with cases prior to April 2012 that have partial payments towards court costs. Thank you for your time and patience as my office is working towards rectifying these issues.
My secretary that does my reports is ill and has been for several days. I don't know, maybe she's pregnant, I don't know. But she's been in the hospital, so blood pressure. Martha.
Justice of the Peace, we have none. Juvenile, you know, Neva leaves that up here, they don't, when y'all don't hand it to me and it gets up here, I lose some of these. And I did not get juvenile today. This is Sharon's, I'm sorry. Sharon, I'm sorry, I wrongfully wrote you off as Neva. Okay, we did not get one from juvenile. Special projects is Sharon. Did you want to read that, Sharon?
Yes, ma'am.
We have 14 determination development applications submitted in April 2012 for a total of $425. We have one that did submit the report last month, and I did put it on the report. They only submitted it without paying for the fee. I did send them a letter, got no response. On-site sewage facility applications, we received 9 for a total of $2,650. Inspector's portion of that is $1,240. TCEQ portion is $90. The county will receive $1,900 out of the 9 applications. I have a question and a problem with line item number 8. It is what our inspector calls a redo. And at some point, if y'all would either consider to put that on an agenda as a discussion, he says there is no fee for a redo. I have a problem with that. And Luana and I spoke. We still pay the inspector his portion, and we still have to pay the state their portion. So I think they do need to be paying their fees even on a redo. I have not seen anything from the Commissioner's Court saying that on a redo, there's no fee.
You don't have me say anything that there is a fee, but you don't have anything saying that there's not a fee either. So why don't you submit that agenda request? We all hear that there's something working here about an agenda, so.
That may be the DR's. That may be the DR's responsibility because he's the one stating there is no fee for it.
But he's charging us and saying there's no fee?
I asked him if he was going to be submitting a fee to the county for that one, and he stated yes. Which leads me back to the grant project. I know that it's going to be our portion to pay for the on-site sewage facilities as a grant match. Just remember TCEQ and Mr. Liska probably has not been approached on waiving their match. It is not you know, they're not county funds, they are contracted funds, state fees that you have to pay. In stating that about the grant, we did have them here at the last meeting. We have no takers for the grant in specific areas, and they have asked each and every one of us, I'm just reiterating, to find people that are in need of these on-site sewage facilities. They're going to redo them. There's no such thing as partial septic applications. They're going to have to reinstall failing systems. But we need people on the list so they can get them a failed system approved.
Is there any way we could put notices in the paper and or maybe Camel Radio?
I'm sure there are. I don't know y'all's process for that.
Have we ever done that in the past?
The grant did go in the paper, if that's what you're asking. The grant applicants did go in, that was part of it.
For people to.
How long ago was that, Sharon?
I don't know, I wasn't in on that. I was only called when they said they didn't have anybody to take them. That's when they asked me. So we did have several people in different areas. Darlene was gonna be researching the Gillette area. James, if you have anybody in that area, we have Gillette, Sestahova, Panna Maria, Hobson, Helena, Green, and I think that was all of them. But we absolutely need participants. We don't want to lose that grant money we've already been approved for. Last thing is ACOG did submit a refund to us. You weren't here at the last meeting, Judge, of a total of $7,195. I've spoken with Rwana to see, and Mr. Schendel, to see if we can get that actually used in the 911 department. Don't know the process to do that, but it's just
Was it a 911 grant?
Ma'am?
Was it a 911 grant?
It actually is monies left over not used by other counties. They paid us for our entire request. This is extra.
Well, then watch the lawn and see where that's at in your budget. Or I mean,
Well,
how
it
it
has to be
budgeted.
put on an agenda to be used.
She'll tell you, I don't know, because I don't wanna get in that money issue of,
Orange County 911.
right. And if they gave it to 911, you would think it would go back to 911?
Well, I was hoping she was here because
Yeah.
she did say I had to bring it up
Right,
to the
but-
court.
And you have to ask the budget guru on that.
We'll put that back on the agenda. That's it, thank
Is
you.
that everybody's report? Okay, we heard from Jeff, we heard from Luana. Carl?
I don't have anything on the county personnel policies, but I actually did have something here that we discussed, and it was on the agenda for February 14th, to discuss, approve, disapprove traffic control devices, specifically at Texas Highway 80 and State Highway 123, outside city limits in Karnes City and other locations needed as determined by the sheriff. And I made a motion, and it was seconded by James, for the court to take action. No parking signs in the above location, and ask the county attorney to prepare the ordinance. And Bob, did you ever prepare that ordinance?
I think the thing went away, did it not, over there on Highway 80?
They put in signs over there, at 80 and 123. No parking, so we don't have that problem. We don't have telephone poles out there no more, so it's been really, and like I said, every time we have to do something again, we have to bring it to the commissioners, because it's not working right.
Do we have any other places that we need?
Not at this time.
Okay.
And
I can
Rodney
wait to go on
hadn't
that.
said nothing to me, so that's how it brought to my attention last time, was Rodney.
But I did see Miss Espinoza somewhere, and I can't remember where I saw her, and that was in front of her house. Mrs. Espinoza from the school, Diane. She said, thank you.
At Todd's money?
Uh-huh.
Right.
Pete's not here. James? Tracy?
Nothing, just a guy, we hired out there at the station, we hired Eli Cutzer Jr. He's been doing fine. Good.
And just FYI, I think I told James that we have some new TCQ people roaming around. Sharon, they might come by and meet you. They've hired extra people for the Eagleford, so just so we'll all know that they're out there roaming.
And for the month, we've taken in, month of April, 39,100 in permits for the road and bridge. So that's what I've been doing.
Yes, sir?
They're going to reduce they said if you build a scale, they will come as of May 1st. We have a brand new commercial vehicle enforcement officer here, Dave Bowman. Bauman, I always say
Thank
Bowman,
you.
Bauman, he's stationed here, so he's all excited about getting started working here. He got to see him in school, get him retuned. He was a highway patrolman, and now he's a commercial vehicle enforcement, CV, license weight trooper, old people, license weight trooper. So I'm happy to have him here, and he's going to be talking to y'all at a later date about some stuff. But I was
We
told.
welcome you.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we do, we need.
Hopefully we'll get more down here if
We
everything
welcome
works
you.
right.
We actually, there's a letter in the commissioner's package, and this is not a decision-making thing or anything else, and I can make an announcement. We did send your people letters asking for more help down here from DPS due to the fact that we've been on TV and everywhere else called the deadliest highways in Texas, so
Right.
we don't like that reputation.
Well, for
I can think of
us, we
something
have,
better.
right now, we only have 5 CVE troops covering 8 counties, so that's why we're spread thin right now, so
But we welcome you.
we're gonna do what we can. But that way everyone understands that we're kind of spread thin between all this Eagle Ford shell stuff.
And Pete's not here, so I don't know, did Jeffrey leave? I bet Jeffrey left. I bet he did. Has anybody heard an opening date on the way station? I was out there the other day, but
I know they completed all the topping, when they did 123 and 181. They actually came in and finished black topping all around the scale. We're waiting on Kirby to put the electrical in, and we're waiting on the scale guy to come back. And that's why I was talking to Jeff this morning, trying to find a little portable building. We talked about that the other day. We're trying to get there and
well,
hook
I
up.
talked to one of the troopers yesterday, and one of the things that came out, he says, you don't know how scary it is standing on the side of the road right now.
Right.
And I said, you know, if you say a prayer at night, pray for those folks.
And we're
Yeah.
talking about concrete barriers instead of something so that people will not get up on the troopers, because it is a tight spot, but it will slow down. Y'all talking about 123 and 181. When we got commercial vehicle enforcement there, the lights are flashing. There will be several there, including when they do task force and stuff like that over there. So that's going to be one of the safest places in Corn County, going to be right there.
Thank you.
Sheriff,
Thank
could
you.
we, like the way station there, I've seen these big concrete barriers.
That's what
I
we're
think
talking
they're
about.
portable.
Yeah,
They
he's
set
looking-
them there.
That's what we're looking
If he
at.
was here, Carl, he could tell you.
Yeah.
Because he came and told me the other day about some stuff that he told him about that stuff, because he's working on that. I don't remember what he's putting in, but he's putting in something. He could answer that question for you.
Yeah, we've talked a lot, and Pete's really on that deal for the safety of the officers. Being there, crawling in and down underneath them trucks and things like that, and that's why we need that concrete.
It was all
wall.
budgeted in the way station, all that, we gave him,
Okay.
yeah, we gave him permission to do all, yeah, he's got money.
I've
Thank
got
you,
money.
Tracy, he's got money.
Thank you, Tracy, appreciate it. Thank y'all.
The next, thank you, sir, it's good to have you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to.
I
have something real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just on the trash committee and I'm just waiting for something to come up for us.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Moy. I just got the email from Ms. Juke, which is Pete's precinct, and then you have somebody, and I need, do you have an email? This is
I'll give it to you.
yeah, text it to me.
Y'all
over there
beware,
so we can-
beware.
I'm thinking about what, like Thursday,
Yeah,
right?
don't email.
Ms. Moy?
Beware.
Yeah.
Jen House
We're gonna
tells
try
us
it. We're gonna try to meet
Don't,
next Thursday.
don't do it. It's the smartest thing in the world. Thanks, Mark. Don't speak for your protection. Thanks, Mark. And I'm not trying to, Judge Quinny said he's glad he's not ready to get it. He told me after the last. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. We have,
I made the motion.
who did it? Somebody did what? Do you know?
I made the motion to adjourn.
Did you,
Then I'll second it.
Okay.
what did you say, Carol?
Then, you caught me first?
It doesn't matter
Flip a
anymore?
coin, because they both want it. You motion, you second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? No opposition. Motion carries 4-0.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.